been going live in the morning, sharing some thoughts that things that are helpful for me and that I think will be helpful for you. And just a lot of the times, the things I say to myself are useful for other people. So I go on here and share some of those things. What's up, Leah? What's up, Circle Up Nissan LX? So one thing that's kind of on my mind today is this about consistency and why consistency is not enough. Why consistency by itself is not enough in all areas. Consistency in your fitness, consistency in your money. Why consistency by itself is not enough. This came from the concept that there was a while my wife and I. What's up, Leah? What say what's up to your husband for me. Love you guys. You guys doing some great stuff out there. And, it's great. You guys follow them and check them out. And so, look, my wife and I would go to the gym, and we were consistent as fuck. We were just consistently going to the gym and not getting results. So we were like, okay, clearly there's something we're missing. We're going, we're showing up, we're going. What's up, Mr. Billion? Hope you guys are doing great out there. Caught you live a little bit yesterday. Like what you're saying. Think we should collaborate on a few things. So maybe we can talk about that offline. So consistency by itself is not enough. Because my wife and I would go to the gym and we're like, okay, so we're consistent, but we're not getting results, right? There's people who will consistently go to work and for years never get promoted. Their income doesn't increase. So they are consistently working hard, but they're not getting anywhere. And so ultimately what you want to measure by is not how consistent you are, is what results are you getting? How competent are you and what results are you getting in any area? So for example, you take people with their 401ks. What's up, Arden? People with their 401ks. Dude, they're the most consistent people on the planet. By the way, taxpayers are the most consistent people on the planet. The government makes sure that you are consistent with your taxes. They take it out of your pay. That's how consistent it is. They take it before you even get it. That's how consistent you are with paying your taxes. So understand there's different rules for different people. I'm actually going to do a webinar today. I want to hop on here before I get into what I got to talk about here on this live stream. I'm going to do a webinar today. I'm going to talk about 3 concepts. I'm going to give you tax strategies. I'm going to give you 3 tax strategies that you may or may not be using that will actually save you taxes right now. I'm going to talk about what a lot of our wealthy clients are doing to manage overall and monitor their finances so they know instantly when changes are happening in their finances and what to do and how to adjust. What's up, George? What's up, Matthew Kennedy? Big shout out to you. And I'm going to also talk about business valuation. Business valuation. So if you're a business owner, you definitely want to be on there. Send me a DM if you want to get registered for our webinar. I'm going to do it at noon today, noon Eastern time. I'm going to talk about business valuation. How do you like evaluate a business, and how do you drive the value of a business up? And a lot of that has to do with credit and capital, so that you can access credit and capital to be able to do a lot of other things you want to do. Ultimately, putting your capital efficiently to work in different areas. Well, there's businesses that cash flow, and you want to understand how do you value a business and how do you drive your cash flow even higher. So I want to talk about that on our webinar today at noon Eastern time. We're going to talk about tax strategies and some of the different things we're doing. Now, if you're super consistent but you're not getting results, it can be very frustrating. So my wife and I would go to the gym. We worked out. We were on the treadmill all the time, all this stuff. We weren't getting the results we wanted. So clearly something was missing. And here's something I've noticed a lot. A lot of times when people become financially successful, they close access, they close the curtains, right? So you'll hear this phrase about move in silence. Move in silence. And to me, I think that's stupid. That's stupid as shit. That is selfish. Why would you, if you're doing something great, why would you want to do it silently? Do you realize that there's a tremendous amount of people who can benefit from you sharing what you are doing? what you are doing that's working well. I'm talking to people who are like very successful. And so one of the reasons people do that is because in this day and age on social media, there could be a lot of hate and negativity. So people go in there, they start showing their cars, they start showing stuff, they start showing their planes, whatever. And then people get negative about them. Be like, oh, they start saying negative things about them. And so sometimes those people are like, dude, I don't need this drama in my life. And then they close the window. I used to always wonder how come when I grew up in Liberia, West Africa, I thought everybody in America was rich. I used to wonder how come when I came to America, I looked around and I realized the people were not rich. Vast majority of people were not rich. So, and how come they weren't interested in becoming rich? When understand the mindset, I was living in Africa in a war zone. Do you know how suppressive it is to even start a business in my home country? Like to start a business. It was like almost impossible to even do that. In America, you can literally go and register a company. You go to your Secretary of State website, register your company, get an EIN number from tax ID and all that EIN number from the IRS, and then you can go open a bank account. And I sound like one of those gurus that said, first you do this, you just do this, you do this, you do this next. But yeah, there's stuff involved with it, but it's not overly complicated, guys. And you can start a business. Even if you don't even register a company, you can literally put up a website and people can buy stuff from you online. Now think about if you live in a village in Africa that barely has electricity. You don't have a fucking smartphone. You don't realize the opportunities that you have by living in the country and culture that you live in, that you can say, let me test this idea. Let me see if this concept, somebody would pay me for this concept or this thing I can teach them. I learn a skill, I'm going to teach it to other people. Somebody can pay me for it. You don't realize how easy that is to just do that. We're talking about, imagine now you're living in a village or you're living in a war zone and there's barely electricity and you got to walk a mile to get some clean water, or half a mile, and you got to go to the damn well and draw water out of the well, whatever. Now, that's people's reality over there. So when I would watch movies in Africa, I just thought everybody in America was rich. So when I finally arrived in America, I realized, okay, that's not the case. I was here for a while before I realized that. So that's not the case. So then why are people don't have the information or don't execute on the information? Well, a couple of reasons for that. Number one, I think people are consistently doing the incorrect actions. And the incorrect actions could involve several things like this. You realize you want to improve some area of your life, so you start searching, which is good. You start searching or researching. And then you just continue searching and researching. And then you just continue fucking searching and researching forever. You consistently, you go on YouTube, you watch a million videos, you research, you search, you research, and then you don't execute or you don't do something about that. Or you don't put it into action, or you don't test it out to see if it works or if it's gonna work. And so I just find the people who are, the higher up you go in all the food chain economically, these people are not all that smart. They're not like super smart, like well, they're so much smarter than you. They're not. They're just, in fact, they revel in the fact of being, they're like, dude, I was a C student. I'm not smart at all. They revel in the fact of being not the brightest around. But if you look at anybody who is on this planet who has results, they biased action and execution. So they like, hey, I'm going to execute. I'm going to do something about this. I'm not going to think forever about something. I don't like to take forever to make decisions. Either I'm going to decide to do it or don't do it, and that's my decision. So make sure you're biasing action. What's up, Alfredo? Bias action. Implementation, yes, taking that step. Doing something about what you're learning and then improving as you go. So consistency by itself is not enough because you could be consistently doing the wrong thing. The indication that you're not doing the right thing is your results. It's your results. That's the indication you're not doing the right thing. My wife and I were going to the gym and we weren't getting results. We're like, okay, clearly we're consistent. The first step is consistent. Okay, we're consistently going. What else are we missing? There's something we got to be missing. And part of it was we didn't know our macros, our fats, carbs, and protein. We didn't know our macros until we linked up with somebody who helped us understand our macros and how our macros, the food we're putting in our body, is make and the right amounts of the macros. Did we even start to get any results? So we were missing pieces of data. There's something we weren't implementing, even though we were consistent. So if you look in your life, if there's results that you want and you're consistently doing something, but you're not getting the results that you want, like you're consistently working hard, but you're not getting the financial results you want. You're consistently putting money in your 401k, but you're not really feeling like you're getting the results that you want, right? You're consistently doing something, but you're not getting the results that you want. There's something missing. There's some implementation that is missing. And the way you close the gap on that is most of the time is not by watching a video, is by implementing something. Like with Chelsea and I, we were missing implementation of macros. So we would literally be eating more than we needed or eating the wrong things. So even when we worked out, it canceled out itself. It canceled out itself. So you also then have to be congruent with what you want. Like a lot of times people will say things like, I want to lose weight. I'm just talking about fitness stuff because I think almost everybody can relate to that. We all have bodies. So they're like, I want to lose weight, but I'm going to go eat crappy food. I want to lose weight, but I'm going to eat crappy food. So one or two things are happening. Either the person's lying to themselves or they don't know the effect the crappy food is having. It's the same thing with finances. The person says, I want to buy real estate, but they put money in a traditional 401k plan that doesn't match, or they put money above their match. That's not congruent to what you want. Either you're lying to yourself or you're missing some information. Because the 401k ties up your money. I'm not beating on 401k, but we used to set up 401k plans for companies as times when it's appropriate, right? So I'm not beating on 401k. But by itself, the guy who invented 401k, he was like, dude, I created a monster. Understand how these things came to be. Before I got into the financial industry, I met my first mentor in this industry was a guy who was like, he was asking me, well, how do you know the 401k is the best thing for you? I was like, I don't know. I just started working. That's what they offered me. He's like, yeah. He goes like, do you know that's how most people make their financial decisions? They don't even know if something's the best thing for them or not. It's just what's offered to them, so they just accept it. So how can you create uncommon results? You're like, I want to be financially free. Do you realize that being financially free is vastly uncommon on this planet? Hashtag financial freedom. Do you know how rare that is? Very few people are actually financially free. So if you're not financially free, that means your results are common. So if you want something that's uncommon, then you've got to do something uncommon. You got to look at uncommon. If you want uncommon results, you can't do the common thing everybody's doing. If you do that, you just get the common results. So people consistently put money into their 401ks, and then they realize, oh, if it worked, everybody will be able to retire consistently. So all you need to do is look for results. That's all you need to be looking at. Who has results that I want? And I can check to see that they have results, or they're helping people get results. That means that what the person is doing is working. That's what that means. That's your evidence that something's working. Are there results? Okay. That's the main thing you look for. You don't look for people who like, they got the pretty car, whatever it is. That doesn't imply that they'll do they get results for other people? That's what you want to be looking at. Have they helped other people get results? And if they have, then you're like, okay, so that person's a bona fide person. They're legitimate. I can like look at and do some of the things they're doing. Can they get results? Look, if I was a personal trainer and I was fat, I would like get in shape or not be a personal trainer. You can't be a personal trainer and be fat. I see it. Oh, dude, I see it. And I'm like, dude, how, that is not even, now understand if you've got like medical issues, like if you got like a health issue and something's preventing you from working out and you put on weight, understandable. But if you can't enforce your own discipline, why would I listen to you? I say this to myself all the time. I'm like, dude, am I being disciplined? If I'm undisciplined, why would people listen to me? Why should you? You should not listen to me if I'm being undisciplined with myself. So it's like, how good am I with my own stuff so that I can have enough credibility to then talk to other, whatever it is how you become congruent. And then you don't have to sell people on something because you're just congruent about what you believe, right? You're just showing what you're doing and what you're implementing and what results you're getting and how you're helping other people in those areas. So being consistent by itself is not enough. You've got to implement things and you got to have results. So how do you measure if you're having results? So one of the things that we do in my company is everybody has stats. Everybody has statistics. Meaning, every Thursday, we end our week, 2 p.m. Thursday. If somebody buys something from me at 3 p.m. on Thursday, that's a whole new week. Those stats do not count for the previous week. 2 p.m. is a deadline. Everything's 2 p.m. on Thursday. The reason for that is I can then execute my game plan. I can look at my stats. How did I perform? How did our week perform? And then on Friday, we start executing our game plan for the new week. Why am I going to wait till Monday to execute a new game plan for the week? If I start on Friday, I'm ahead of everybody else. That's why we end our week Thursday at 2 p.m. so that we can analyze our stats. Everybody in our company looks at their stats. Every week, your stats are either going to be up, it's going to be flat, or it's going to be down. Okay. If it's flat, it's down. If it's flat, it's negative. If it's flat, it's called a condition of emergency. That's an emergency condition. If you produce the same amount of things you produced last week, you're in a condition of emergency because nothing stays flat in this universe. It has to increase. No matter what the increase is, it has to have an increase. So, and then if it's down, that's even worse. You're like, shit, I got to kick my ass in a gear. So we keep our stats. We graph our stats so we know if it's up or down. And everybody writes a plan based on what condition their activity is in or how they are going to execute. Every single week that happens in my company. Every single week, every single person, myself, Chelsea, our staff, everybody does that in our business. Why do we do that? Because we are looking for results. We're looking for results. I don't deal with rumors in my company. Okay, if you did the thing, it will show up on your stats. If you produced, it will show up on your stats. If you do not produce, it doesn't show up on your stats. That's why people love athletes. Look, how many blocks did you make? How many points did you score? How many fumbles? How many touchdowns? Going from different sports here. How many goals did you score? Those are all stats. So athletes are constantly confronting their stats. But in business people don't confront their stats. How much did you pay in taxes last year? How much did you save in taxes last year? Do you have a graph for that? Are you graphing your tax savings? If you're not, maybe you ought to. Because you can see, okay, my income went up by this much, and then the ratio of my income to how much taxes I paid went down. That's good. Meaning I made more money, but I paid a lower percentage. That's good. So you need a ratio. You get it? It means you played the tax game smartly. But if you're not tracking that, how are you even going to know? So we're very, not only are we consistent, so every week we consistently do our stats and our graph. Matter of fact, we play a game with other business owners who apply the same system in their business. And we apply the same system in our business and we do stats. By the way, if you want to, I'm doing a webinar. Well, for those of you guys who are on here watching, I'm doing a webinar today at noon Eastern time. Send me a DM or leave a comment if you want to attend my webinar. I'm going to talk about how wealthy people do things differently to transform and grow their wealth. Why? It's very different than the common person. You can go to 6buildingblocks.com/custom, 6buildingblocks.com/custom, and you can register there. So it's number 6, 6buildingblocks.com/custom. Register for it, and I'll talk. I'm going to talk about 3 topics. One, how do they handle their cash flow and the flow of their money? How do they handle and track it? Number 2, tax strategies. What are some of the tax strategies they use? And number 3, how do they increase the value of their business and access capital? Those are 3 things I want to talk about. So if those things are of interest to you, make sure to be on the webinar. So today I'm just talking about why consistency is not enough, why implementation matters, because in your retirement account, people with 401ks are the most consistent people on the planet, yet most of them can't retire. They don't have enough money to retire. So you consistently did something for 30 or 40 years, and it didn't get the result that you wanted. How screwed up is that? Think about it. You consistently did something for 30 to 40 years, and it did not give you the outcome that you wanted. How screwed up is that? So you have people who can't retire, but they consistently put all this money in a 401k over many, many years. So they never actually got a chance to enjoy some of their stuff. Most of them in their 401ks have no idea where it's at, how much it's doing, and even if they're invested in things that they don't even believe in. You're like, I don't believe in this industry. This industry doesn't do good things in the world. Okay, yet you are invested in that industry through your retirement account. You see how that does not make sense. But it became your 401k became available to you if you worked out a job. They just made it available to you. So then all you did was take it. So most people in life just take what's given to them. That happened to me when I started working. I didn't know anything. I just came to America, and then I went to high school. I went to college a little bit. Then I like dropped out of college, and I went into the workforce. I'm like, I'm going to go work and make money and learn about business that way. So I started working. And then one of the guys told me, you should get the 401k. I'm like, what's that? They're like, oh, yeah, you put some money in there and save for your retirement. I didn't even know what retirement was. And I'm like, okay, I'll put money in the 401k. So I just started putting it in there. When I went to go sign up for my 401k, I asked the lady, which investment choice should I pick? And she was like, oh, we can't help you with that. You got to decide on your own. I'm like, dude, I'm like 18, 19 years old. I think I was 19, maybe 20 at the time. No, I think I was 19 at the time. I'm like, I don't know anything about this stuff. I've been in America a couple of years. I didn't know anything about this. And she's like, yeah, we can't help you. So here's what I did. I'm like, okay, what do I want my money to do? I want it to grow. So there's this fund that says growth fund. And I just checked the growth fund box. I'm like, well, that makes sense. I want my money to grow, so I should put in a growth fund. And that was literally it. And for like 5 years, I never changed anything. I never did anything. I didn't even know what the hell it was doing. Every paycheck I got, it just went in there. And I had zero idea what was going on with it. Think about that. How wild and crazy that is. I was very consistently putting money into it, but I didn't even know what results I was getting. So if you've been like consistently working hard in your business, and we talk about business valuation, because you could work consistently hard in your business. Yeah, Nissan LX says got to have systems. Absolutely. You could be working consistently hard in your business and have no idea what the value of that business is. So you don't even know if somebody approached you to say, hey, I like what you're doing. I like your business model. I want to invest or acquire your company. Let me check out your books, make sure everything checks out. Let me do some due diligence, but I like what you're doing. And you have no idea what your business is even worth. You spent all these years building this asset, and you have zero idea. 98% of business owners don't even know what their business is worth. So if you don't even know what your business is worth, how do you know what's a fair price for this person to pay you for it? You don't. If you don't know how your investments are doing, how do you know they're doing okay? Have you compared it to something else? You don't know. That's the reality. But you're consistently funding it, but you don't even know how it's doing. You may not even know how to use it. You don't know what the rules are. So don't just be consistent, be competent. You got to move from beyond consistency to competency. When you're competent, you get results. Results is evidence of your competency. Your financial results are evidence, like it or not, your financial results are evidence of your competency or incompetency. But you got to confront that. If so many people reach out to us, I get like 100 DMs a day. They're like, some people are like, yeah, they want to learn about different things, all these different stuff, and I ask them what's going on. And then there's some people who are always like, oh, I'm good. What does that even mean? I'm good. Why do you want to be good? Why don't you want to be great? Why do you only want to be good? So that's just my perspective on that. I didn't come to America, escape the war. But by the way, let me everybody has a warrior in them. You are a warrior. The Western society makes you very complacent. We used to have a phrase in Liberia. There's two types of chicken in Liberia, where I was born. There's two types of chicken. There's the country chicken, which is like really tough and hard. There's the country chicken. And there's this other chicken that's imported, and we should call it the American chicken. And the American chicken was very soft and tender. So other kids would insult you when they wanted to call you soft. They would call you an American chicken. Because you got it easy. They're like, you got it, you're American chicken. And I used to hate that because my father was Secretary of State for my country. So sometimes kids, when they realized that, it would think I was like privileged and all these things. So I used to like go to try to challenge myself so that I wouldn't be called an American chicken. So the kids went to the well to pull you used to have to go to the well to pull water out of the well. It's called a draw bucket. So they drop the bucket down, and you have to pull it up with this rope. And sometimes the rope like cuts your hand, right? So like by you doing that, you're showing, that's me proving I wasn't an American chicken. So, and another thing is, some of the kids were poor. When we went to go play soccer, they didn't have soccer cleats to play barefoot. So if you fucking showed up with a soccer cleat, they're like, oh, you're American chicken. So then I would fucking play barefoot. I got scars on my feet from playing soccer barefoot. So you didn't want to be an American chicken, okay? So, okay. So that's my point around all this. You want to. Everybody has a warrior inside of them. Everybody, even the kids, even your kids, they're tougher. Doesn't matter if you're a man, a woman, whatever it is. During the war, you'll see, when you're challenged, you'll see your warrior come out. I think there's a lot of complacency in our comfortable society, right? It's very comfortable here. Things are comfortable and easy. I can start, whenever it's cold outside, I push a button, I start my car from my phone while I brush my teeth in the morning before I go to the gym, and then the seat warms up so that I don't sit on a cold seat. And then when it's cold outside, I warm it up. When it's hot outside, I push the button and it starts up my car and the seats cool down. Okay, comfortable. A lot of comforts, and if you're not careful, the comfort can be very luring. And so my challenge to you is to not just get out of the comfort zone, but I know that's something cliche people say, but challenge yourself to become even more competent in different areas, but especially in your finances, because your finances impact so many other areas of your life. Your money impacts where you live, how you travel, and even if people fuck with you. The people who get fucked with the most in America are the poor people. They get messed with the most, dude. Oh my God, they get shown little respect because they can't do anything about it. You get behind on your bills. They get no access to capital, got no access to credit. They get fucked with all the time. But when you get to a certain level, people don't fuck with you anymore. because they're like, they know you got attorneys, they know you got this, they know you got that. And they're like, all right, we don't want to mess with that guy. So understand, you want to get to a position like that. And that's why getting your money right is important, because you don't want people to fuck with you. And sometimes it's simple things like my son was traveling. He was sending him to Aruba with some other kids, and they all wanted to fly on one airline. They all wanted to fly on American Airlines for some reason. I hate American Airlines. They all wanted to fly on American Airlines. And then we go there, and somehow there's some sort of strike or whatever it is on American Airlines that day, and the pilot's not showing up, and the lines are long, and nobody's telling us what's going on. And I realize what's going on. These people aren't flying out today on this airline. So while we're in line, I pull out my phone, and I'm like, I stopped buying a ticket on Delta. I was like, let's go to the Delta counter. We start walking, as we're walking to the Delta counter, I'm buying his ticket. Okay, so having resources gives you options to where I can buy his ticket. We go to the Delta counter and end up flying out on Delta. While everybody's pissed off on American Airlines, oh, my flight didn't leave, blah, blah, blah. Dude, it gives you options. And that's why the money thing's important. That's why you have to be competent with your money so you can get the results you want, not just be consistently putting money away into things like your 401k and all these different things. Not that it's good or bad, but if it worked, people would then retire successfully, but they don't. So anyway, that's my message for you today. If you want to join me for a webinar, going live at noon Eastern time, you go to 6buildingblocks.com/custom, or you can send us a DM and we'll get you the link. And thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.